Yo, this is Smoothie Guns, and we back with my man with the deal wrong. Y'all better tune in for the next show. Let's get it.
Control everything, and so the president really has no say except yes, you can do that, no, you can't. But how many presidents have we had? How many presidents?
24.
Don't fall on the
24 presidents.
44.
44. 24. So 44 presidents, and this system is getting worse. Some people have brought it to a.
Well, actually, we did discuss that. You know. Well, look at
regardless
it. Listen.
Regardless.
What we want you to think about.
What you think.
No. It's not a thought.
Still ended up.
No, listen.
Ended up in another war.
No, listen.
We're still in a
but listen.
War.
Before you answer that, and we're gonna let you continue, but
we'll continue to be.
Now listen.
What did the Bible say?
We already know this has been occurring, and this is nothing new. And we discussed this before in previous shows that. The same things that we experience or what we see as our generation or before, a little bit around. If you really dig deep into it, we experiencing it no different from a previous generation. It's just that we have more technology and everything is more clearer to us, and we can see it and analyze it differently. Now, what I mean by that is that people could tell you if you want to hide something to hit the Nazis and then whatever what they do. The first thing they did was burn the books. Information and knowledge is crucial to people rising up above the tyranny of governments.
And having mental elevation.
Not only that.
A mental elevation.
It's just having awareness.
Well, if awareness can't do anything if your body's not willing to go the distance.
Okay, so that's why we got you on the show tonight. So, do you have any pointers to get people in that direction?
I say this: if you know something, it's your duty, it's your responsibility to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? If you know something and you're not willing to do anything, don't say anything. Don't even mention it, because at the end of the day, your knowledge and what you speak of can only go so far as to what you do. What you say has to be proven by your works. If it's not, then there's a miss. There's a miss. Why? Because you know better, you do better. If you don't do better, if you know better, then you're wrong. Okay,
I agree with that, but for a lot of people, that's easier said than done.
Always is. It's always hard.
We can always say that, and there's a lot of people that came before us that did say that, and we know that.
There's one solution to that problem.
Would you be willing to help people at least understand that? If they was to reach out to you in some type of way, where you can actually, not saying that you can totally
do
a whole turnaround, but at least give people some advice. And at least if they could reach out to you, would you be willing to at least give them little bits and pieces of stuff? Because
pieces of information.
I mean, for what it's worth, at the end of the day, we have conversations and we try to go beyond that to the best we can. Not saying that you might not have every opportunity to do that, but let's say if somebody was to reach out to you, would you be willing at least to take into some type of consideration to back up what you're describing? And it doesn't have to be the whole full-blown thing, but at least give somebody something, a little tidbits or something to relate to, and maybe that can help out, and then later on something can move forward depending on relationships in those situations. Like, you know, I put up a tweet not too long ago. I said, we all talk about it, but at the end of the day, nobody's really doing nothing about it. Like, we can talk about this to the sky collapse.
Well, I can tell you one thing.
And
A quote from this book, though, in chapter 4.
What's the name? What's the title? And what's the name of the book?
The book. I think every Black American.
Put it up.
Every Black American should read this book.
In the middle.
The Miseducation of the Negro, written by Dr. Carter G. Woodson.
Okay.
Every Black American.
Now,
well, what you said earlier, how to help people.
Read the quote.
The quote is, the only way to elevate people is to help them to help themselves. The only way to elevate people,
look at the camera,
is to help them help themselves. That's the only way.
Right, so we understand that, right?
Let's give a sermon, I can wear a nice suit and say blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
You don't want to do nothing.
Okay. So we know that, right? So this book was written in I'm pretty sure it was like somewhere in the 70s.
Oh, way before.
Or the 60s.
Way before.
But it goes back to the question, like, okay, have a seat, man. What I'm basically trying to say is that we all got a special way we could play a part, but we also want to bring guests and want to have our viewers interact with the guests, and you know,
well, my view,
if anybody can help out in any way, I'm not saying you gotta give somebody your whole paycheck or no shit like that, but but
see,
in order for things to to occur,
something is happening right now that is sweeping the nation. You know, I believe there is a team and organization out there, even right now, dedicated to resolve this matter. Dedicated to elevate people, helping themselves, help others, help themselves, and then help themselves help others. You know, I believe there is an organization out there like that, and I believe.
Oh, so we basically talking about Black Lives Matter. That's one of the groups, right? Black Lives Matter. That's one of the groups.
Black Lives Matter.
Yes, that's one of the groups. You never heard of Black Lives Matter?
No.
What year is this? 2015.
Yes.
Michael Brown was killed. Eric Gardner was killed. A lot of people was killed. What's Sandra Bland?
Sandra Bland.
Well, my advice, there are groups out there doing it, but we still have.
Who any of these groups are. I know that the organizations that.
Well, name the organization. We're willing to take the information in the name. Well, we don't hide nothing here.
I don't know any. You know, I just know.
You know,
certain organizations. There are organizations that exist.
We would have
dedicated to helping people.
We would have to retract on that, because if we don't have the information in the names, so we can't take that. We can't take that as a solid statement. So
well, there is one.
I will have to retract. We will have to retract. Just to let you know on the show, we will have to retract from that unless you have the information.